German interest in Scandinavia. The German Reich has clear interest in Scandinavia, both for bases for military operations and for the sake of natural resource import. The escalating conflict has meant that there is a very real threat to any resources ferried through the Baltic or the North Sea. I just remembered there was a new patch. Am I running it? Yes, I am in fact running it. Good. It automatically removed the beta. German Reich has declared war on Norway. Norway has joined the Allies, while Denmark yet stands. Interesting. Germany's going very, very aggro. And with a hostile Soviet Union over here. I mean, Germany... You can't underestimate the fact that the lack of resistance over here is going to make them a lot stronger. But not having Italy, and France not yet having fallen and actually putting up a fight, especially along the rivers, and Maginot still not having fallen, kind of screening some of their big cities over here. This is how I would fight in France right now. The Soviets are justifying on Romania. And they're doing the anti-fascist diplomacy. They've already got war goals against it because of the Odessa oil fields. So basically I really need to join the Comintern quickly. What's the tiny pink between the USSR and Germany? That's Poland. Yeah, Paris is going to keep falling and rising and falling and rising. Because the French seem to be fighting relatively hard for it. Hungary claims overlordship. Indian Civil War. Interest. Communist Indian Civil War. This is the thing I was terrified of happening during my USA game. Confederate States. Hungary claims overlordship over Slovakia. The Hungarians have raised claims that Slovakia should once more be a part of their nation, either as an integral part of the autonomous region or an ultimatum to this effect has been issued, backed by the threat of force, and diplomats from several European nations are in a frenzy trying to find a peaceful solution to this latest crisis. Whoa, that's a large Indian People's Republic. This looks familiar. It's like the Princely Federation plus the Communist India versus the Indian Federation. Is Venezuela? Venezuela is dying to the British. Venezuela joined the Axis. And Britain has a lot of colonies around here, so Britain's taking out Venezuela. They joined the Axis, not the Comintern. Well, this has screwed Britain. The German Reich caves to Hungary. Oh, and because Italy's not in the war, nothing's happened in Africa. Except down here, apparently. Oh, that was the Congo, which Germany took when Belgium fell. They caved to Hungary. Really? After ample deliberations, the German government under Adolf Hitler has decided to give in to the Hungarian demands. They've accepted Hungarian control over Slovakia, preferring to appease Miklos Horthy to preserve peace. Undoubtedly, this will strengthen Hungarian resolve in future dealings with their weakened neighbours. You don't say. And why does it still exist, or is it a Hungarian puppet? It's a Hungarian puppet. They joined the Axis since they were at war with the British. They could still have joined the Comintern, probably. That would have just brought the Comintern into war against the Allies. Alright, what's the USA doing? Destroyers for bases. That's going to allow Britain to escort more of their convoys. They did go neutrality. And they're going intervention in Europe. They've already finished War Plan Black. Okay, so Russia is now at war with Japan. This should light up. If they call them in. Guangxi may have done that too late, though. Come on, Guangxi, call in Russia. Call in Russia! God damn it! Denmark capitulated. The Danish government has gone into exile and the main forces have capitulated to the German Reich, who is now in control of their home area. Why didn't Germany Anschluss? Because Hungary claimed Austria. Iceland takes control of the foreign affairs. With the capitulation of its union partner Denmark, the Icelandic parliament has taken control of its own foreign affairs and in so doing has essentially become a fully independent nation. No, Mordred, if you played as Japan, they would call them in while I was a day away from ending the war. Yeah, that sounds oddly familiar. Oddly familiar. Okay, so we've opposed the Yankee imperialism. And now we shall do the international proletariatism. Although, I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to improve relations with the Soviets. Because they don't actually like me very much because I gave Trotsky sanctuary. Worse than that, Trotsky is in my government. He's not my ruler, but he is in the government. So while that's going on, I'm going to get engineering reserves for the 70 days, then we're going to join the Comintern. So the Allies are at war with the Comintern. India joined Comintern, not Axis. Well, who's fighting over here? Unless it's volunteers or something. I want to see if there's any other abilities. Second Mexican Revolution. What does that actually give you, though? Atheist insurrection, religious insurrection. We've not done either of those. Oh, that is the Civil War. So because we've actually balanced the church and the state, we haven't done it yet. We could do war propaganda against Germany, which would increase war support. It would cost me 75. No, we're going to save it because I want to finish the engineering school. However, do I have all the designers that I want? No, we don't. That's fine. We can just research them over time. And you are giving me industrial research speed. I do like my industrial research speed. Although we have finished a large portion of it. I don't think that synthetic oil counts as industrial. That's specifically different. I think industrial is just this tree. I do wish there was a little bit clearer on that. I'm waiting for the Italo-German War. Yeah, me too. This game is so full of surprises. Indian troops in Canada defected to the communists. Seems like that is quite possible. Switzerland's pushing out. They've taken Stuttgart. Improved AA. Let's go and upgrade the AA that we are producing. And then research the improved artillery. And then we're going to be using the AA in our regular divisions as our anti-tank ability. Although we're going to have to produce quite a few. I quite like the Mexican flag. It's very me. Black and red. If it was black and blue, even better, but black and red's acceptable. Switzerland holds, Maginot holds, and while Switzerland holds, supplies can continue flowing into Maginot. How is France doing? Like, France is holding surprisingly well, considering they've lost a lot of war score already. Hey, Snowball. The election campaign begins. The election campaign for the next president is due to begin in the next few days. The 1933 constitutional reform was introduced in response to anger at the idea of Calles becoming president for a second term, and after the outright assassination of Calles' predecessor, Oliver Obregon, who sought a second term. This reform presents an elected official serving twice, even if it was only an interim or provisional caretaker. This helps prevent a repeat of the Porfiriato, which saw dictator Porfirio Diaz served 7 terms in a 30-year period and inspired the 1910 Mexican Revolution, plunging the country into a decade of civil strife. This law has the benefit of making patronage networks outside the party more difficult to sustain, but also prevents officials being directly accountable to electors, as they will move to a different tier of government after their term, making them reliant on patronage within the party. Constitutional reform is essential for the stability of the country, or ridiculous. Lázaro Cárdenas knows best. He will serve a second term. So we lose a little bit of stability. We will not have elections. I worked so hard to bring him in. But we are a democratic nation. So I'm going to do the roleplay thing, and I'm going to say constitutional reform is essential for the stability of the country. And we'll see what happens. Can I save while I'm doing this? I can't save. Let's save it first. Wow, this takes a while to appear. There we are. Constitutional reform is essential. I'm sorry, Cardenas. The PRM successor. The successor to Lázaro Cárdenas being discussed within the party. Competitive elections are still the shaky ground in Mexico, and the ruling Partido de Revolución Mexicana, in coordination with the army and security forces, are certain to win this general election. So we can get Vicente Lombardo, the dean of Mexican Marxism. Stability goes up, which is nice. Stability is always good. And factory output. Francisco Mujica, the revolutionary general and social reformer, who reduces the law costs even further, and also means that partisans have more of an effect. Except we've already got a theorist. We haven't had to do conscription laws yet, and we've already got the economy law in place. So that's less useful. And then Leon Trotsky, the exiled revolutionary, subverses activities and ideology drift defense. Ideology drift would mean we become less democratic. The Soviet Union will hate us, which I don't want to do. However, because this is democracy, I'm going to put this up for a vote. And I will be very upset if you guys do what I am almost certain you guys are going to do. Why did I agree to a democracy? Why? Vicente Lombardo, who was the... I can't actually read what that says. Radical trades unionist. Oh, what was his bonuses? Let's just go back to that. Stability and factory output. Then we have got Francisco Mujica, who was the cheaper laws. And then we've got that other guy. Who is a traitor? Here we go. Oh. No. Yeah. Come on, people. I have faith in democracy. I really hope this ends as a 52%, 48%. I will laugh so hard. I will laugh so hard. Come on, people. Get your votes in. It's ridiculously close. Every single poll that we've had with Mexico has been absurdly close. It's pulling away now. Alright, so in last place came Mujica with 2 votes. In second place came Lombardo with 15. 16. I'm going to draw this out slightly because Lombardo is currently sitting here with 16 votes. And I'm sure there could be more than 16. And then we got the traitorous bastard with 17. 17! It's 17 all. Okay, fantastic. The polls are still open. 17 all. Alright, I'm going to say next vote wins. Lombardo wins. 18. I said it, and that's what we're going with. 18 votes, Lombardo has won. There it is. I bowed to the will of the people there. The people have made their wishes known. That was a purely democratic... it doesn't matter. The decision's been made. The deadline has passed. Lombard won 1817 at the point when I called that election. It's entirely legitimate. Okay, mobile defense is done. So next up, we now need to make the decision between dispersed and integrated. Because I have quite a few line artillery, I think we're going to go dispersed. So ordinarily, if you want your artillery to be in the support companies, you would go integrated. And because we don't have aluminium, we are going to have a lot of support companies which are damage dealing, which is what these are really good at. All support companies do extra 25% soft attack, and they also grant extra organization. On this side, they have more recovery rate and just 10% more soft attack. See, the organization bonus is nice because it means that you can have a lot of these guys and it won't affect the organization too much. Which would also mean that we can bring in anti-tank. Now, what does anti-tank require to create? Tungsten and steel. It's actually more expensive than artillery. Wow. I mean, our dispersed artillery is already going to be really strong, so we can go support artillery, support AT, support AA. Recon. And, or sorry, engineers probably. And then field hospitals. Maybe we're just going to have to do without field hospitals. Oh, that feels horrible. But if we're heavily armoured and with a lot of firepower, then we may not actually need it. Oh, and you can get support rocket, can't you? Support rocket a thing? There is support rocket. Then yeah, I think we're going to go support. Because I want all of those things, but I want them in smaller numbers. And having the organisation bonus from that is going to be huge. Okay, here we go. Soft attack plus 25%, organisation plus 10. Do it. And we're going to want to have the AA coming online as soon as we can, really. We need 380, we have 69. We need more. Why not build some synthetic rubber plants? The problem, Colinus, is I am still limited. Oh, wait, what? I'm still very limited in terms of factory. Like, I have 8 military factories. I have 17? Oh no, I have 22 civilian factories now. That has increased quite a bit since I checked last. Do we have any other locations that are on 100% infrastructure? No, everywhere else is still building. Veracruz is going to be next. Oh, and I don't have the tech for synthetics. I mean, we probably will need it for the motorized and mechanized later on, because we have a lot of fuel, and we may as well use it. And yes, that did look like a coup in France. That's Vichy France. That's Free France. So, Vichy France has got war goals against regular France. Free France is over here. And Nation Française doesn't seem to have appeared. I think that was literally the fall of France. Yes, it was. They just had the names wrong. So, Free France, how socialist are you? You are uber socialist. Look again at the poll. Well, poll's already called. The election was over. If you got to the polls late, then that's your own fault. You should have worked that out a little bit better. Deputy Führer Rudolf Hess was arrested by the Home Guard soldiers in Scotland yesterday after parachuting from a heavy fighter. An accomplished pilot, he apparently flew alone across the North Sea, taking care to stay out of radar range before veering west towards Britain. And the French Communists capitulated. So, Free France became the French Commune, and then Germany. That does, I think, mean if the Soviets get into France, then the French Commune's just immediately going to be resurrected? Not actually sure how that's going to work. No, because they weren't in the Comintern. They're just dead. Yeah, the intention to get synthetic factories is definitely a thing later, Linus. Part of the other problem is I only had 2 research slots for a really long time. We've only just got this up to 4. And 5 will be our maximum. Which is actually fairly decent. But for 5 we need 50 factories. But we are only 1... Yeah, we'll be just 1 tech away. Wow, that's 140 day. That's a long time. And we need another 16 factories, but now we have a war economy. We should be building up pretty quickly. I love how you're so confident about winning this. Also, I should really start colouring you guys properly. We'll go purple, because that's the... No, we're going to go red, because that's the colour of socialism. Even though red's usually my tanks, but we can just use a different crest for the tanks. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. Let's go check those. Bugger, forgot. Let's put that there. Nope, I'm just going to lose them now. Names are what I'm looking for here. Smitherman. And then this is the cavalry. And I think the cavalry are going to stay purple. And these are the fast ones. They can be the star. And then this is going to be... And I don't actually have a name for this. This is Hoi... Force. Can't believe I haven't done any names for this yet. Guess we never got to the stage where we needed to. Who's still on there? You haven't. Yes, you have. You're in EU4. Just forgot to tick you off. Who's this? Shadowhawk. Ooh, that's a good name. Shadowhawk. And then we also need the overall army. And this is going to be... Sir Humphrey Appleby. But to shorten it, I'm just going to call you Appleby. Unless I can get Sir Humphrey in there. I can. I'll just call you Sir Humphrey. We know who that is. Except I spelled it wrong. R-E-Y. There you are, Humpy. I didn't temper with the election. People just didn't turn up before the deadline. There was absolutely no tampering with the election. All of the international observers were perfectly content with the way that the Mexican election was handled. The fall of Vladivostok. Oh, so you are fighting Japan at last. Vladivostok, the largest city in the Russian Far East and home of the Soviet Pacific Fleet, has been stormed by Japanese troops. Its strategic position at the far end of the Trans-Siberian Railway makes its loss all the more detrimental to the Soviet war effort. Meanwhile, we got the improved computing. Let's get the decryption. No, let's get the atomic research so we can get that research speed boost. And yeah, the Soviets are going to be fighting a two-pronged war here. Against the Russo-Japanese and against Germany. And now it's Switzerland standing alone. Eesh.